everybody, welcome back to Nerd Goblin Art. I'm Lula. So today I'm making some lips. They are funky lips. I'll be using Supernova, Arcane and Poison by the Tiny Turner. Those are for the lips. And I'll be using Let's Resin White for their teeth. And Let's Resin is a chameleon powder, and that is called Plum for the tongue. Okay, so I'm using, like, I think they're makeup applicators. Sometimes I use a brush, but for this particular mold, from what I've used before, I've always found it best to use the eyeshadows. I'm doing the teeth first because the first thing that touches the mold that's going to be basically the colour that comes out of the mold. So I'm doing the teeth first. It's basically starting in the middle and working your way out. They're really nice molds to use. I got these molds, I believe, from Amazon, or it may have been Etsy. I will double check and I will link in the description below. And as usual, I'll link anything that I've used in the video too. Now, these teeth are quite sexy lips, and I've used them quite a few times, and they are very popular. In general, I put them in a frame, but in this instance, I won't be. This is an order from a friend, so I'm making them up especially, and she doesn't want them framed. So there, I'm done with doing the teeth, and next I believe there's only one with a tongue, so just the one, and that is using the Plum Let's Resin chameleon powder. I was just checking, just looking on my desk. It's a really nice colour actually. I've not found a red mica powder that I really like yet, so this works great. And also Nick Pro does a red, blue, purple colour which works really well, as does the red, orange, yellow, but that one in particular is the best. So this is an ethereal powder by Tiny Turner, and it doesn't look like a lot going on now as the powder. Once the resin's in, and the colour is just amazing. So that one, and next is Arcane. It's my favourite one. I used it on the dragon that I recently done. It is one of my favourite colours, and I have got another pot ready. It goes on really well too, and it cleans off incredibly well also. I'm just making sure that I'm getting all the way to the edges as well, because you can see the tops of the lips. If you're putting them into a box frame, which I know that I find that a lot of people do, you won't see much of them. But as these are going, as they are, I'm making sure that I'm getting as much coverage as possible. And on to the next set of lips. This one's called Poison. And again, it's such a gorgeous colour. It doesn't look like what it looks like in the pot. And then when you do add the resin, again, completely different. These mica powders are also great with either black or white resin. But today I'll be mixing up a black resin. Isn't that a wonderful colour? Fab. And I really appreciate it if you give me a like and a subscribe. It's very, very helpful. Apologies for being slightly off screen there. So give it a little tap. And look at that. Gorgeous, isn't it? Wish you know, that was a proper lipstick. Aren't they great? They're going to look great with the resin as well. So I'm using today Let's Resin's epoxy resin, and it's a 1-to-1. Look at these dainty little bottles as well. Isn't it cute? And I'm using my Let's Resin mixer. Now, these do a 40-second run. So I tend to put it on. I used to put it on for maybe 3 or 4 rounds. Now I put it on for 6. And I'm just showing you there that I decided to make up some extra resin because I wanted to play with some glow in the dark ducks that I ordered from Temu. And obviously, you can't go. You love. I love glow in the dark stuff. It's just fun. There you are. So I'm just letting it drip off, wiping as much of off as I can. And regardless of the mixer, I still make sure that I give the sides and the bottom of the cup a really good scrape about. So I'm using black mica powder. Again, this one's just one from Amazon. I'm not I'm still convinced that Let's Resin really need to start selling, the blacks and at least the whites you know, in a bag, so you don't have to buy the whole set just for the colour. So this black mica powder is all right. It's just it hasn't got that shimmer to it that the Let's Resin one does. So I'm pouring from a little bit of a height just to help any bubbles pop on their way down, and I'm not filling them completely at first just so that I can give them a little jiggle about. And I do apologize for my camera going in and out of focus. It does it a few times on this video, so I am sorry. Better next time. So I'm just going to give them a little encouragement for bubbles to come up, because obviously I couldn't pre-spray them because of the mica powders inside, but I do spray them afterwards. And I also gave the resin a little squirt before actually pouring it in. And as usual, just needing to make sure that you're on a level surface. These lips don't take a great deal of resin. And I do find, I think it hides somewhere, because after you've thawed it, you suddenly realise that you've got a lot of overpour. So just be wary of that if you do happen to use these particular molds. So I've moved those over to my other mat, over to my other balance table. Now, I've got my octopus mold and I just wanted to have fun. So what I'm doing here is I'm just placing some of the duckies into the head just to see how many I actually do need. So I apologize for being slightly off camera. I really did think I was right in there. So to help alleviate any bubbles, I've tipped the amount of duckies that fit into his head into the resin. And I'm using my old favourite. I do love this non-sync glitter from Intoresin. So because there's pink and green ducks in there, I decided just to do a pink and green glitter. I could have added other colours, like because I've got orange, I've got blue, I've got all the colours, but I didn't worry about that. So they're just giving a little bit of squeeze and a little bit of a tap just to encourage any bubbles. And these octopus, I don't know about you if you've used them, they are terrible for bubbles just under that part of the back of the head. Is at the back, you know, it's not going to be an issue, but you know. So I'm just putting some in, always being wary with this particular mold. I believe this one's from Amazon as well. Um, is, you know, the encouraging your resin to go into the legs, because it can sometimes just sit there and it just needs a bit of encouraging to go down right to the ends. So there, as you can see, I'm just teasing it down with my silicone tool just to make sure that it goes all down to the edges. You know, and I'm eyeballing to make sure, and I'm looking at it from the side. So little squirts of, I'm sorry, these are my alcoholic inks, and they are Let's Resin ones, but I have decanted them into the needle nose because when I first started using resin, I didn't realize when I bought the bottles that you shouldn't cut them, and they were just a mess everywhere. So I ended up pouring them all into the bottles instead. And I apologize again for my Zoom going in and out. So what I've just used is um, midnight blue and dark magenta. So I've just put a few drops of that into the legs of the, oh, well, tentacles. I was worried I was going to say testicles. So I'm just using my silicone tool just to mix those colours together and give it a little bit of a swirl. Just a little point of interest. It's probably not going to stay like this because resin does as it does. I'm not using any sinker, so the ink should basically just sit on the bottom anyway. I just wanted something more, a bit more interesting in regards to the legs. And I was kind of being a little bit lazy in all honesty, because this effect is quite nice. And I'm going to add another colour to the centre. Here we go. And I always had this issue with my those little silicone tools, the nibs. No. Right, that's peach red. The nibs always start to come out, so I end up having to glue them in. So that's peach red. It's a nice colour to go with the basically purple and blue. They complement each other, and I always find when you mix it just makes me think of a universe, of the universe and space and stuff. Is a really lovely effect, and because there's glitter in that resin mix, it's just really pretty. You're not really going to be looking at it from underneath, but I know it's there. It's pretty. I like it. So there you go. Just swirled it in. I didn't go incredibly deep. I didn't want to encourage it to sink too much. So there. That along with the lips will be going to cure. And we're back. So the lips are done. They are a little bit warm, but I'm impatient. But I was careful. So this is the first set. And look at that colour. So pretty. I think that was poison. I might be mistaken. I'd have to look back. I cannot remember. Next set. Look at that. And obviously you put in the white mica on the teeth, but because you're using the black resin, the teeth, I like it personally. It's almost like the teeth almost have like a goldy type effect to them. And I really like it. It works well, I think, anyway. So look at that. Mwah! Lovely, beautiful, luscious lips. And next for the octopus. Now, it's always going to cure quicker in the middle part of it, and it takes longer on the tentacles. It was a bit tricky to get out, but I committed. Ah! Isn't it cool? Those duckies, by the way, they do glow in the dark, and I've been charging them up under light. I really like it. I think it's really cool. I love the colours in the legs as well. So, I hope you enjoyed. It was just a bit of fun today. It was great with the colours, and I'm really happy with how they turned out. Thank you so much for watching. I would love it if you could like and subscribe. Love you and stay weird.